The story of how Britain rose to become a global superpower is a complex and fascinating one that spans centuries of history. It is a story of ambition, resourcefulness, and sheer determination, as well as one of exploitation, violence, and oppression.
The early history of Britain is marked by centuries of conflict and division. The island of Great Britain was home to numerous small kingdoms that were constantly at war with one another. However, as the country began to consolidate its power and expand its territories, it became clear that Britain had the potential to become a major force on the global stage.
One of the key factors that contributed to Britain's rise to power was its location. Situated on an island off the coast of Europe, Britain was uniquely positioned to take advantage of the growing opportunities for trade and exploration that were emerging in the world.
As early as the 16th century, British explorers were venturing out into the unknown corners of the globe, seeking out new lands, resources, and markets. These explorations led to the establishment of British colonies and trading posts around the world, from North America and the Caribbean to India and the Far East.
These colonies and trading posts became the backbone of Britain's global power. Through them, Britain was able to tap into the vast resources of the New World and establish lucrative trade networks with countries around the world.
At the same time, Britain was developing new technologies and innovations that would help it to stay ahead of its competitors. The Industrial Revolution, which began in Britain in the late 18th century, transformed the country's economy and society, leading to a surge in production and economic growth.
This growth was fueled by the development of new machines, such as the steam engine and the spinning jenny, which revolutionized manufacturing and production processes. Britain's ability to produce goods more efficiently and cheaply than its competitors gave it a major advantage in the global marketplace.
As the 19th century wore on, Britain's global power continued to grow. The country's navy, which was the most powerful in the world, allowed it to protect its trade routes and project its power around the globe. Its military and diplomatic power allowed it to establish a vast empire that spanned the world.
At the height of its power, the British Empire controlled nearly a quarter of the world's land and population. It was the largest and most powerful empire in history, and it had a profound impact on the world as we know it today.
However, the story of Britain's rise to power is not without its controversies and complexities. The country's empire building was often accompanied by brutal acts of violence, exploitation, and oppression, particularly against indigenous peoples and communities around the world.
Many people in the colonies suffered under British rule, and there were numerous uprisings and rebellions against British authority. In some cases, these rebellions were successful, and countries like India were able to gain their independence from Britain in the mid-20th century.
Despite its flaws and controversies, there is no denying the fact that Britain's rise to power was an extraordinary achievement. Through a combination of exploration, innovation, and sheer determination, Britain was able to establish itself as a major force on the global stage and shape the course of world history for centuries to come.
Today, Britain no longer holds the same level of power and influence that it once did. However, the legacy of its empire and its contributions to science, technology, and culture continue to shape the world in countless ways, and the story of its rise to power remains one of the most compelling and important stories in human history.